Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay at home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight, got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet, cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. I'm not saying let's punch it. Stop. I was sitting there forcing me to say that. Unbelievable. What am I going to do?
What are you not going to say?
Let's punch it.
Yeah, yay.
Oh, dang it. He got me to say it. Anyway. See, this is what happens when you have a good co-host. They always walk into these things. Anyway, hope everybody's doing well. Football season's getting ready to start soon. And for all those who are in fantasy leagues right now, hopefully those who drafted Travis Kelce are not crying too hard, seeing as how he hyperextended his knee the other day.
I know, right? Man.
I was giving one of the guys in our group a bunch of crap about it. It was pretty funny because he's a huge Kansas City Chiefs fan. So
yeah,
it was like duly hurting for him. But yeah, but
well, also he's a Chiefs fan. So, I mean,
well, there's that too.
I don't even know who they are. I just know I can say that about practically any team. And somebody would go, right? I know. Oh my God. How could you be a whatever fan?
Oh no. But still though, it's fantasy football is definitely a fun thing. It's not quite D&D, but
it's exactly D&D. It is role playing for jocks. Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up because I would have anyway, but yeah, it's exactly the type of thing where I don't understand it. I've never done it. Right. But you're basically getting together and saying, okay, this is my dream team. Where are we going? How are we putting? Well, this guy doing, this guy's doing it. This guy towards whatever.
You're not wrong. Yeah. I mean, like you're stacking up your team based on who you drafted to play against another person's team and see who comes out victorious. And, in the end, you have your main person. And of course, you have not a dungeon master, but you have your commissioner who, also oversees certain aspects to that as well. So, yeah.
And most sports fans dress up like their favorite heroes. They go to the games wearing the jerseys and the face paint and everything else. You don't see that a lot in D&D.
True.
I'm saying that's much more prevalent in sports.
Although you do have Comic-Con, so there is that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it happens, but that's the event. That's what it's for. That's like the Super Bowl.
True.
That's like the Super Bowl. That's a thing.
True. That's true. So anyway, so that's one thing that's been going on. I did want to point one thing out, and I don't want this to get kind of overlooked with everything that's being talked about for HomeDadCon. And we do have some guest speakers coming on tonight as well. But September is a very important month, Suicide Awareness Month. And I've seen a lot of just media coverage and different aspects of it this like just coming up to September. And honestly, like that really warms my heart because it's one of those things where it's becoming less and less of this, stigma and becoming more and more of an actual thing that's being seen in the public eye of like, hey, like people deal with this. Like this doesn't have to be swept underneath the rug. You don't have to feel bad about it. Like there are people like to go and talk to, and there's help out there for you. And that's the main thing that I wanted to stress was just the fact that there is all kinds of avenues of help out there. I mean, they've even shortened the suicide hotline down to 3 numbers instead of some massive 1-800 number. I didn't pull it up on my screen. Do you have it there, Google, sir? I don't know.
988.
988. There it is. Yeah.
That's what I was Googling.
Oh, well, I figured, but I thought maybe you might just have it like right there.
988 is easy to remember for me. So yeah, I've typed it a lot in different chats and emails and places.
Is it pound 988? Just
like 911.
Okay, so just 988.
Just like 911.
Awesome.
988.
I like that. Nice. Yep. So I just wanted to put that out there just because it is an important topic.
Absolutely.
we discussed that other people in the groups have discussed multiple times. I myself am a suicide survivor back when I was in my teenage years, and I've dealt with depression through my adult life, and so it's always there. So it's something that I'm always willing to talk to other people about at all times, and I know you are as well.
Yeah. My latest real attempt was 2019, and since then I've had a lot of thoughts of it, but not gotten to that point. But I want to say too, the reason I looked it up to make sure I was remembering it correctly is this is worldwide suicide prevention, this is Suicide Prevention Month here and throughout a lot of the world, but it was a worldwide suicide prevention day is September 10th, and it's that entire week as well. Yeah. So we have a day, a week, and a month. And the reason I'm saying that is, one, because it can get very confusing. Like, wait, is this the day or the week or the month? But the other part of it is because so many people around the world have understood how important it is.
Yeah.
To, like you said, to talk about it, to get rid of the stigma. I mean, I've got a tattoo of a semicolon on my arm, which everybody can see, simply because that's the part in my life where I was going to finish it, and I decided to keep going. And that's what a semicolon does for writing, and that's what that symbol is for people internationally as well. And it's something that I think we, as human beings, need to understand. Yeah, this happens. We need to be able to talk about it. We need to be able to say, hey, I felt this way, without somebody else judging us or wanting to put us in a hospital. We need to be able to say these things. Yes, this is where I was, or this is even where I am. So 988 is awesome. There's also a lot of text helplines, which are anonymous. The anonymity is very important, I think, to offer people, because a lot of times you don't want to go on record and saying you're at this point. You want to be able to say, I'm at this point, but you don't want the cops to show up to your house.
Right. Exactly. You don't want to draw too much attention to you, but you would like just
you're looking for help. I need help.
Yeah, exactly.
But going to jail or going to prison, or going to the hospital is not going to help me. I don't need that.
Right.
And it generally, when you push it to that point, it just compounds the problem. So 988, and again, the text services that are a lot of services out there that offer, really, really stress people just use them.
Yeah, no, definitely. You're talking about your semicolon tattoo. That's the one thing that is on my list of things to get by the end of the year, is the tattoo that I had designed, which is a semicolon that actually is in the middle of an arrow. So that's something that hopefully by the end of the year I'll get done. I just know it's going to cost some money, so I'm just trying to get it all built up and save money for HomeDadCon at the same time.
You should get a brand.
Oh my gosh, no, I don't want that. I want to pass on that one. Thank you, though. Woo. Way to turn that corner on that whole thing. Oh my goodness.
I would take a brand, I think, faster than a tattoo. I really did not enjoy it.
I mean, it would be definitely
is in a nice flat area. There was nothing, fat area right there on my arm, and it was like no bones or no real nerves. I'm like, it feels like a bee stinging me. Can you stop? I didn't say that, of course, because the guy would not have stopped. He would have just looked at me and probably pressed harder.
And probably had some other words to tell you along the way too.
No, I told you we weren't stopping.
Yeah. You chose this.
Right.
Exactly.
You paid me to do this to you.
Right. There it is. Yeah, there it is. That's the point right there. Goodness. Well, kind of turning the corner from those conversations. We are tonight having two returning guests, actually, who are also, I'm very excited, are going to be at HomeDadCon to present. There's also some other fun little things that are going to happen while they are there, and we'll see if we can get that out of them as well a little bit. But we're going to have a couple of the guys from Turf Valley on here in just a moment. And we'll be talking with them about their show, some different aspects of the show. Along with that, how they're going through the writer's strike and everything as well, and what they're going to be talking about at HomeDadCon. So we will have Tom and Adam on here in just a moment. Become a member of the National At-Home Dad Network, an organization focused on providing advocacy, community, education, and support. connecting with households where dad is the primary caregiver of the children. We do this through our webinar and podcast series, mental health support groups, regular online social events, as well as our annual convention. The National At Home Dad Network is a 100% volunteer organization. Without the generous support of its members and the community around it, we would not be able to continue the work that we do. Becoming a member gives you access to past convention speaker presentations, the ability to vote for board members annually, and ensures that the organization's fees and bills are in positive standing. Oh yeah, it should not go unmentioned that there is some cool swag headed your way if you decide to become a member. For only $35 a year, your membership provides you with the exclusive content only we can generate, and you'll be supporting an organization that benefits families all around the country and world. By advocating for them, offering them community, providing education and guidance, and supporting them to grow in their parenthood journey. And one last thing. If you contribute $500 or more, you will become a lifetime member. Not only will you receive everything already mentioned, but also a certificate recognizing your status and an exclusive National At Home Dad Network challenge coin with our trademark logo, Dads Don't Babysit. So, what are you waiting for? Become a member today. Hey everybody, welcome back from the break. Like I was stating before, we have our guests with us tonight. We have Tom and Adam from Turf Valley. Remember, these guys were on about a year ago, and we're so excited to have them back on the show to not only talk about Turf Valley, but also talk about the fact that they are going to be at HomeDadCon in person and are also bringing a guest with them as well. Guys, welcome back to the show.
Glad to be back.
Danny, Brock, thank you. This is sort of like, when Steve Martin got to come back that second time on Carson. Like we're
oh my God, Carson! Oh my goodness,
like special guests here.
Man, I feel especially get my name in there right beside Carson. I'm all good with that. Man, you guys have been busy. Just following along your story of what you've been doing with the show and things like that. You guys have won some awards since we've talked last. What's kind of been going on in the past year for you guys?
Well, we just, first of all, before we get into all those good questions, we just again want to say how excited we are to be connected with this big new family of ours. You guys are like brothers. We're thrilled about that. We're thrilled about HomeDadCon. I was telling Tom, it's like the talk of my neighborhood and all my inner circles and outer circles. Like everybody is really like just intrigued by this, And
I think in some weird ways it was more valid. Like in some circles of my family, they're like they understand conferences and speakers. Like that's totally understood. People are like, I make a show. They're like, what?
I know you guys get to kind of peek behind the curtain a little bit on getting more in-depth information about your show by coming to the convention.
Yeah, it's like research for us. I mean, and we're so excited to hear these stories. But yeah, to answer your question, I mean, we basically have spent the last year, distributing the season one, getting it out there on as many platforms as we could. And we thank you for your kind words. Yeah, we won a lot of festival awards and played all over the world. And got some great reviews and press and just spent a lot of time, sort of hearing from new audience members, and building that audience. And and so it's just been a great experience. And we've got, we can talk about this later, but one of our episodes actually went viral. I mean, it was the most thrilling sort of media experience I've ever had. Like Tom and I were just watching.
We had a Facebook reel that had featured Charles Mann, who was the 3-time Super Bowl champion.
Yeah.
And it was just this throw. And it was just this thing that like it was. And then 1 week it just ripped. And we were like, whoa. And we got like 1,500 new fans and followers that week. And wow, and what a tremendous like view of the world. Like I was like, oh man, this is, there was like a professor in France, and there was
Cool.
like an oil worker from Edmonton or something. Like I was like, wow, this is really great.
Yeah.
So it really
Yeah.
changed our sense of audience. And I feel like this time around, we got our first national sponsor this year, the Garrett J. Verver company in Michigan. And, the show is feeling more national. And I think it's feeling more about your audience a lot more. I think that that's what's kind of changed in this last year.
That's exciting. That's awesome. Congratulations on the sponsorship too. I mean, those are not easy sometimes to pull in. So we've as an organization, we've been around that.
Yes, you guys know it. I mean, and I didn't even realize how, like, you guys, I many times I've thought, wow, these guys, I don't think I really appreciated, that part of it, because putting on a convention is a show. I mean, and it's all for, it's all for your audience. It's all for the purpose. It's all for, you're trying to say something.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to the trip. I really am.
That's awesome.
I'm really looking forward to you being there too, because there's so much that your show has offered and shown. One for us is just exposure. A lot of times, you'll say I'm an at-home dad, and people just kind of fuzz out a little bit, and they don't really know what you're talking about, right? You mentioned we're making a movie, we're making a show, and then you understand conference. You're like, I'm at-home dad. Oh, well, like an at-home mom, but a dad. Oh, okay. So wait, and you get that conversation going. But the hilarity, and actually those very emotional parts of what you've had on your series, I'm really looking forward to season 2. I mean, I'm like, yeah, come on, just give me one episode, man. But I want to say I really loved your sponsorship episode, or your video, I guess. I mean, you guys are professionals, and it's obvious. I'm not going to say, oh, it's very well done, because you're professionals. This is what you do, and you did it well. And I have to say, as part of a nonprofit organization who's always looking to some kind of scholarship, sponsorships or fundraising or whatever we're doing, I watched that. I'm like, wow, okay, yeah, okay, we need to up our game here. We're not up at this level yet. It was very impressive. So, just
thank you so much.
Kudos.
Tom talks. Thank you, Danny. But Tom talks about that a lot. That we're sort of growing together. I think we see all of you as new friends and brothers in arms, but also that we're both both groups are trying to do the same thing, which is educate and grow and make people feel something and smile or laugh or think more deeply about something. So I think we're sort of kind of in alignment in a lot of ways.
I'll just add to that. I think it was based basically on your organization and the conversations that we had over those couple of months, where I really came to understand like the theme of the idea of having like your people, and having your like tribe, and having your, that I think is something like, so for season 2, just to speak a little bit about it, is just in the most general sense.
On, man. That's fine. I get it.
We're shooting.
Blackjack gum.
There you go. Blackjack gum, best gum in the world.
For old people, yes.
But just
I love it.
Like you should have buddies.
Yes,
buddies. You should have pals, and you should talk about your dad, because it's better for everybody, basically.
Yeah, that's the one thing that Danny and I have really kind of had this mantra or whatever for this for the podcast that we put out there, is just the idea that you need a mentor and you need like a dad's group or a men's group to be a part of, and it's been just such a huge thing to be able to put that out there and for people to like grab it up and see the value in it, and just kind of take that and help them to actually have this push to be looking for, how do I connect with other dads in my community, or how do I even just connect with other dads like online, and just trying to figure out those ways to better themselves and also look at how they can help better other people. And that's, yeah, your guys' show is another element to that, in the fact that, you know, we get to be sort of like stay-at-home dads get to be put in a spotlight of like, yeah, they're right there, that whole thing, yeah, that's us. Like every, you know, these are great, like, okay, you know, like I understand that, you know, just that whole aspect of it. That's one of the things that really, I feel like, drew me into the show.
That's the representation that really, it really, that's what hit me at first. Because I don't know, probably by the second episode, I'm like, yeah, like I'm that guy. You know, it's just like, yeah, I know what he's going to do next, because I know what, you know, and it's really, really good to have that, especially when you're in kind of this niche, you know, in life, that I'm going to be here for a year, 5 years, 20 years, whatever, you know, your commitment to this job is, that you're kind of isolated. You know, you're out there on your own, and, you know, like you go to PTO and it's like, why are you here? Did we need to move something? Is there a bookshelf we got to get? No, I'm here to be a part of the PTO because I've got kids, and they still, you know, what does that mean? So having that ability to watch a series like this, and it's so good, we're like, yeah, exactly. And then a lot of the humor that I think really touches on a lot of the, you know, spots that may be a little more sensitive, but you know, lets it be funny and realize this is just life. So all good. I love it.
Well, the fact that we that you guys thought that we got a lot of it right, really, it was personally satisfying. But I think it also it sort of encouraged us to keep going, and I think made people want to tune into it, you know, and feel like they're getting something that was, you know, was real and had some authenticity to it. So
you know,
again,
I would say, just again, to speak a little bit like to the way the show is developed, and our thinking of the show has changed a little bit in some ways, because sort of like we're also exploring now is the concept of like third places, you know, places where you do interact, you have like a genuine cool interaction with another dad, but you're like on the go, like, you know, we have no time to be hanging out. This isn't like you've got, you know, you're at you know, hockey practice, or you're at, you know, you know, your next sporting event, and you get to have the 30-second conversation where you reveal all and then go, like, you know, like, or deal with the absurdity of the world, which, you know, I don't know. I mean, as much as they're part of the world, man, the whole thing seems kind of weird.
Right. Or you immediately like you give this like crazy comment about like, my kid's done this like insane thing. It's just nuts. Your kid doing stupid stuff like that. Please tell me. Please say yes.
Why are we in the rain right
yes.
now?
Just say yes.
Well, that's exactly right. We I think it was probably at first subconscious that we wanted to sort of, you know, take the first season, which takes place, you know, largely at that corner. You know, that was sort of the inspiration. And then we even noticed in later episodes in season 1, we were sort of starting to move the dads around a little bit. And now, as Tom said, in season 2, in these 3 episodes, they're like venturing out, you know, a little bit more, and, you know, interacting with different kinds of people in different kinds of places.
Yeah. And that's something that I wanted to touch on, is the fact that, you know, when you guys come to the convention, you're not just coming to be there, like you're going to be filming like parts of an episode there. And I'm really excited for it. One, because I always like to be like, all right, how are they making the transition to actually like get this character to HomeDadCon? What is that going to look like? And then, you know, what's going to take place? Like, because, you know, you guys put in some really humorous writing. It's like, all right, like where you can go in so many different directions. I feel like you guys are going to have a fun time sitting at the writer's desk being like, okay, how do we do this? Like, there's so many avenues to go into.
Yeah, we had the best time like concocting that, and what sort of came out at some point was this. Again, they're on the corner, and I don't know if you remember from one of our episodes, we have this really successful real estate guy.
Yeah, he's got his desk.
He's got his desk on the corner.
Yes,
it's heavy as hell.
Yep.
So early.
I bet. Yeah.
And Anthony came back as a sponsor this year, and I just talked to him today, actually. So what sort of the way we sort of let it evolve was he's on the corner trying to do his job, and our dads are like, they're hanging out with him. They're like playing with a stapler and like, they got their feet up on his desk. At some point, he's like, guy, he's so patient, but he's like, guys, you should think about maybe hanging out with more dads, more at-home dads, and they're sort of picking his brain, and he says, have you guys ever tried a convention? And in real estate, we do this all the time. It's a great opportunity. And so, of course, they're like, well, there's no such thing as an at-home dad convention. And then Tyler looks at his phone and is like, hey, there's one in Milwaukee, right? That became an organic way to get
That's awesome.
Totally.
Well, we get dads like that though, who, they're just scrolling around on Instagram or whatever, and all of a sudden, like, it just pops up on their feed due to maybe them like just looking for dads groups or just for like fatherhood type stuff, and the algorithm pulls it in there, and they're like, "What is this?" And then we get like those random guys who are just like, "Yeah, I just happened to see it like pop up like on my social media, and here I am, and I have absolutely no idea what I'm about to get into." And and then they have a grand old time about it, and they're around for years to come. So it'll be exciting to see how that all plays out for you guys.
It's very true to life. Very true to life, the way you did it, for sure.
Well, but true to life. I think that's what by coming to the conference, we also are sort of introducing a completely new visual, palette to the show, because in some way it's somewhat documentarian in some ways, and then it's fiction and funny and absurdity, just like the rest of the show. So we're traveling light. We're not bringing we're a small tiny crew, so we're not going to be like invading the place with equipment and people. We're keeping it small, we're keeping it light, and we're just this show has always been about just reality in the world of the show. Touch and they depart, and they touch and they depart. And this is like, I think, a nice way we come here, we capture a little bit the truth of Dadlife, and I think, and then talk about your organization and bring it out into the show. And then nice. and talk about all our hard work as dads. I think that there's a great honor and a great privilege to being able to do these projects and be raising our children, and not being like totally neglectful parents. And that's a tough line to walk, but it's it's something you should honor yourself, and you should honor your family at the same
definitely time. And so with the fact of how you're coming, you're going to be shooting and all these different things and filming all this, like, so how does that play into what's going on right now with the writer's strike? Like, because I imagine there's probably some listeners right now are like, wait a minute, how are they doing this with the writer's strike and everything else is kind of being put on hold as far as like, cinematography, cinema and all that kind of thing. So kind of walk us through a little bit, like how is that possible for you guys to do that? Did you have to get special permission, or how'd that work for you?
Right. So yeah, great question. And, to break it down a little bit, there are two guilds on strike right now. The Writers Guild, and I'm a member of that. They went on strike, I think in May, in early May or mid May. And by my count, I think it's the strike has lasted longer than any one of recent memory. There was one in 2007, and I remember walking on the picket line in LA during that one. So then the Screen Actors Guild, I think, joined. They went on strike too, a couple months later, sort of in, for their own issues, but also by implication, there's a lot of solidarity.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think this this is so interesting to me, and I'm glad you guys raised it, and to Tom too, that the vast majority of writers and actors, for that matter, we're all essentially like blue collar men and women. We're making a living, we're paying our mortgage, but it's not like we have some mountain of cash somewhere. There are those super that little group at the tippy top of talent and success that make the money that sort of gets the notoriety. But the vast majority of the union membership are are making good livings, but are working hard and have to get that next job, and that goes for actors and writers and directors. So the spotlight negotiation is really going on between the big heavyweight companies like Netflix and Amazon and the studios. They're members of sort of a consortium, the AMPT, that sort of is bargaining together. But within that group, there are smaller players and larger players. But those are the big ones are the ones I've mentioned. The big streamers and the studios that remain. So within that negotiation, the Writers Guild recognizes, that basically what the Writers Guild is saying is you can't sell during this period. You can't take meetings with those big companies. You can't try to sell something to those big companies. You can't option material to those big companies, and you can't, if you're a TV writer, you can't take part in a writer's room for a television show. So all those things, are connected to the fundamental negotiation here, which is with those really big streamers and studios. But as a Writers Guild member, I'm still allowed to write, and Tom is allowed to write, and we, if we went and tried to sell Turf Valley right now to a company, that would be, breaking
no go,
right. And so, but it's still okay for us to operate the way we're operating as writers.
Right.
We're not selling our material, we're producing our material. We're shooting our material in an independent fashion. Sorry, is this getting really? I feel really boring.
Well, I think you made your point.
We get the gist of it.
Short version for SAG. Basically, with SAG, it's the same kind of thing. Like, right now, SAG is allowing independent productions to proceed.
Nice.
SAG's beef is not Turf Valley LLC or smaller outfits. It's with the big studios. So
but we cleared all those permissions, and we filed with them, and they're aware, and we're small, so it's not like the but it's nice. What I will say is nice to be. I think that this is the reason why we've gotten all our cast back. We've gotten the crew back, and this show really, I mean, I don't think we're not that smart, but like we made the best situation of COVID last time when we shot. I mean, basically, I don't think that there were any other productions going on when we were shooting in COVID. And then as this strike was looming, and I was like, oh my goodness, are we going to be able to do this? It dawned on me. I was like, oh, this is another one of these situations where, and we've got people flying in from the cast flying in from Los Angeles to come and join the show again. And I am so grateful that they've all come back. I mean, it's just such a vote of confidence, I have to say, and it's not easy to get. So one of the things I would say is, like, it's not easy to get when you're independent and you're small. It's not easy to get the kind of traffic to your show. You have to break through a lot of noise. And so, what I'm really hoping also is that, by connecting your audience with our audience, that we will get our shows, get our ideas out there, and they belong out there. This is what the beautiful thing about independent, organizations and projects are. It's more democratic.
Definitely. And you guys are bringing Tyler, aka Vince, to with you. So that's exciting too. I think it's just going to be neat to just have him around and meet him. And honestly, like, we were talking about this as sort of like research in a way. And I think it'll be neat to see like what he sort of takes away from being around, all these guys, and, what he can take back, to the show for you guys, and really like bring that into a new, like, because to me, honestly, like the way he interacts on the show anyway, like he portrays a really good, like, stay-at-home dad who's just like really just like, he's got his like just his mannerisms and different things, when you see like how he interacts with the other dads, you're like, yeah, I could totally see him, being in the neighborhood with all the other dads, just trying to do life and try to, figure out this whole like what is being a stay-at-home dad, what is that life like. So I think having him around like the real the real guys that are in the trenches kind of thing will be pretty cool to give him a little, maybe like a method acting insight or something.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, he's sort of that character is sort of an innocent in a way. He's sort of like, he just goes out into the world and soaks it all up, and he's not judgmental, which we love about him. He's just very open-minded, and I think we sent like you and Danny a little scene that we'd like to do with you guys, and we're hoping to do something with Shannon, but we also have planned to just be sort of flies on the wall and let Vince wander around a little bit in these little groups and in the hallways in character, and just sort of see what happens,
I actually, that's what you guys say, like, oh, we're getting inspiration. That's partly true, but I think another part of it is that I think we'd like to just showcase a little bit too.
I think we're gonna have to get him a name tag that says Tyler on it then, probably, instead of one that says Vince.
Switch it over.
We already did.
Oh, you did get it. Nice.
I'm telling you, Brock, professionals.
They're on top of it.
This is Well,
no, I got to hand it to Keith, because Keith.
Oh yeah.
Keith out of the blue one day, like he's like, "What do you think of this?" And he sent us a mock-up of the Tyler badge, just like like we didn't even ask for it, and it was genius, And I think he asked me for like. He asked us, right, Tom, for like, what would Tyler's pronouns be? And we sort of,
that took 2 days.
Yeah, it did.
Oh my gosh.
finally came up with something Shakespearean.
I think my question to Tyler would be like, hey, so, is your wife, did she go up in space? Like what, because isn't she the astronaut?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, don't you worry.
Got to know, man.
Man, if you guys mock up like a space station or something, and get shots of her somehow talking to him on her.
We got Mir back up and running.
I will pee on myself. I'm just gonna.
She's in the International Space Station, and he's like FaceTiming with her, like you would with your kids and your wife.
Exactly, it'd be perfect. Yeah. Well, I don't know if it'd be perfect. Again, I'm not a producer, but they're just. I'll be like, yeah, of course she is. Of course she is. But again, I really love that, and with all of the partners for the dads, I love that you have ones that are a lot of times exactly what our partners and wives are, where they are incredibly. Far more than we are. I married up without any. There's no way that anybody could argue that one. I didn't marry an astronaut, but but to have that ability to still be, for lack of a better word, a man. To still be. This is who I am. Yeah. No. My wife makes 10 times the money I ever could, but I'm still doing the work. I'm still who I am. I still split wood and play baseball and whatever else. It's just that difference in skill level, and I love that that's there, just because of the moment that you have as a man when you're no longer the breadwinner, and that first 100 even checks that come in your wife's name or into her account over and over, and you're like, I made $1. I sold a pair of baby shoes to the neighbor and they gave me $1. Because you're at that point and you've identified, you've made your identity for so long in that I'm good, I'm powerful, I'm strong because I'm bringing in pay. And that's not the truth of it. Your value is way beyond what you do for a living, or what paycheck you bring in.
It's such a terrible metric. It's really like, and everybody knows that, like, money is just like, it's not really the thing to be like comparing things by. There's a lot of different stories with people who make money, and I think part of the story in the representation of the women in Turf Valley is to talk a little bit about that side too. I mean, I think that those shifting roles for mothers have not always been so easy, and it's also very confusing and challenging for them as well. I honestly, I sometimes like, I like the idea of the balance. We get paid in time. Like time is the only currency. Everything else is.
It really is.
Definitely. And then
Yeah,
speaking of time, how much time are you guys spending at the convention? Are you there from Thursday to Saturday, or when are you coming in and when are you guys headed
should
out?
Be.
We will. Tom and I both.
There enough.
We both teach, and we both have to teach Thursday, but we're coming Friday, so we'll be there Friday through early Sunday morning.
Awesome. Hey, so, that's great. You guys will get to see. Yeah. You guys will get to experience a lot in that time period.
Will you be in Milwaukee Thursday teaching, or you're driving in Thursday night or flying in Thursday?
We're flying in.
Yeah, we teach in Baltimore on Thursday, and then we'll taking the first flight. Once it's so funny, right? Literally, I had to book my flight on. Okay, the kid gets on the bus. I got to see him out the door. Got to get the 9-year-old on the bus, and then haul out to the airport. That's
right.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. That's
it.
Seriously, we're doing way too many sports this year. I am doing like sports like all afternoon, 7 days a week. I mean, it is really. I don't know what happened. I've gotten crazy. It's partly Adam's fault because he was like one of these crazy hockey dads. He's literally traveling the world. And I'm like, he's like, it's awesome, dude. You should do more stuff. And now I'm doing stuff out my ears.
Yeah. Yeah. The dam breaks and it's just like, oh, okay. All right. Yeah. We do everything now.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of
sports engine accounts.
Well, you're talking about like breaking away as soon. Like that's the thing for me. Like, I'm breaking out in the morning as soon as like my wife leaves to take the kids to school. I'm headed in the opposite direction, getting out of town. Yeah. And it's like, going to pick up actually a couple of dads in Indianapolis and then driving up to Milwaukee. So we're doing a little dad road trip, which is going to be really exciting. And then actually I'm meeting up with another and then I'm meeting up with a dad in Milwaukee, and we're driving down for the Cubs game that night. So it's going to be we're just trying to take advantage of it.
That's smart.
We're also leaving on Tuesday. Like I'm getting a lot of time away. So it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
We're shooting our 3 episodes right after. We're flying back on Sunday, and then we shoot Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Oh right. Wow.
So we're doing the same thing as you, but on the flip end. And like I think
but you'll have HomeDadCon like fresh in your brain about it, so that's awesome too.
And we're even like we're bringing, we wrote in the script. We got the guys on the corner with the Home Dad T-shirts, so we got to remember to bring them back from the convention. And,
yes, the ones that say "Dads don't babysit" and
dads don't babysit. Yeah, we got to come back with the swag. We wrote the swag into the show.
Yes, that's awesome, man.
So we'll see how the swag goes.
That's cool. Yeah, no, that'll be exciting. So, well, man, I tell you, we could keep talking forever, but we're kind of coming up against the our wall of time. But definitely looking forward to it. I mean, this is only like a couple weeks away, so it's gonna be here very soon. And so hopefully the guys, as they hear this, they get excited about it. But yeah, it's gonna be a blast to finally get to meet you guys in person, and just be able to have time maybe to just clink beers and cheers and just have a good conversation and just get that side of things into it as well. But thank you guys so much for coming on the show and just talking with us, and also too for being able to come to HomeDadCon and just getting to experience what Danny and I and many other dads in the stay-at-home dad world see as sort of like the pinnacle of our year coming to the convention.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention, I just thought of this, but this is how all this great synergy works. I work at a university, and they were looking for an article to do, so they heard about the show, and so I got to tell them that I'm going to HomeDadCon. So this is
cool.
So this the HomeDadCon will get mentioned in the alumni magazine for gosh knows how many
awesome
alumni will learn about and that's just the spirit of all this, is we share the news and
I love that
together. So that's that's what's great about this.
Well, it was our pleasure, dudes.
Definitely. Well, hey, we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. Thanks so much, like I said, for coming on the show, and we'll talk to everybody else next week. So have a great one.
All right.
See you soon.
Yeah. See you.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.